Ooh, that looks tasty.
Welcome, folks. Today the Hungry Gamer is back again with Scott Caputo, this time with one of his games being published by Pencil First Games, 100 Torii, with art by Vincent Boutre. And so, Scott, can you tell us just a little bit about 100 Torii?
Absolutely. So, in this game, you'll be walking through a Japanese garden, a beautiful Japanese garden, and as you do that, there's a kind of path building aspect. If you look at this, you can see there's lots of paths. So this is a tile laying game, and there are different landmarks that you can visit in the garden. You can see there's bridges and lanterns and statues and fountains. So on your turn, you would play one tile. So let's say I played this one that has the bridge on it. Place the bridge, and what I'm looking for is the shortest path to another bridge. So if I follow this through, I can get all the way back to this start tile here, and what that would give me is one bridge token. Now, this game is called the 100 Torii because there are lots of Torii gates. These are these very beautiful gates in Japanese gardens, and if my shortest path goes through one of these gates, I get a special benefit. You can see here in there's the somehow I didn't get the English version, but you would get +1 token for every red Torii gate you go through. So in this case, I would get another bridge token. If my shortest path goes through a blue gate, then I also get another token, except anything that doesn't match whatever I just got. So I could basically get any of these other tokens that's not a bridge. So I could get maybe a fountain. And why do I want these? As soon as I get 5 of a kind, then I turn them in and I get a very beautiful scoring token. If I get 5 more of that same type, I flip it over and now it's a 10-point side. But this is as much as I can get. I can't just visit bridges all day. I have to go visit other things in the garden. And
Yeah,
so
that's a very boring garden.
Yeah.
Just bridging.
So I have to I'm trying to score as many of these, see all these different landmarks that I can. Now, fortunately, I can get help. There are different people in the garden. People like, there's samurais and poets and geisha and vendors and gardeners. And each of those has a special ability that if I have tokens, I can basically purchase their help, and they'll let me do something special on my turn. So let's talk about that. So
Yeah, can you give us an example of a couple of those of special abilities?
absolutely. So one of them is the geisha. So whenever this costs 3 tokens. So I spend my 3 tokens, and she lets you play both tiles, and you only score the second. In this case, I have a tile that has a lot of gates on it already, so I could place this one first, and then maybe I score this one second. So now my shortest path goes through a lot of gates, and I would get 1 fountain plus 1, 2, 3 more for the red gates, and then 1 more of something else. And so that would be a pretty big play. You also get a 2-point score card for every time you get help. If you get help again, you get another 2 points. You flip it over. If you get help a third time, you get the really big token, and only one person can get these. Another really popular one, there's going to be 2 meeples in the game, and these are actually going to be screen printed, so these aren't final components. But the poet, what the poet does is he actually covers up one of the icons. So let's say I covered up this rock. And let's say I had in my hand another rock. Say I had this one. So I paid the 3 tokens, I cover up the rock, and it's basically as if the rock isn't even there. So that when I place this, it's going to create a much longer path. And I've seen games where people have made this really long path because they were able to cover up a token or one of the landmarks with the poet. And he stays there until someone else moves the poet. So those are a couple really useful ones. The gardener lets you play a tile on top. The vendor is good if maybe you don't like your tiles. He lets you discard a tile and then draw 2 more. And the last one, the Samurai, which is another meeple, is a defensive piece where you can actually put it on the table and no one can place a tile there. So you can kind of, maybe you see something really juicy and you're like, I'm not going to let other people play there. And you can place the Samurai there. But you're also getting points, as I mentioned. So there's lots of ways to win this game. And some of the other things to think about is there's some achievements. So this particular achievement, the first player to get a 5-point, and that's these type of tokens, in each of the 6 landmark tiles, gets this extra 5 points. And there's only 2 of these, so in a 4-player game, there's a bit of a race to get those. Similarly, if you are the first person to get a 10-point in any 3 of those, you also can get an extra 5 points. So,
and so my one question, so how long does a 4-player game of 100 Torii usually take?
I'd say for people that know the game well, I would say it's about 45 minutes. So definitely an approachable lunchtime game that you can be very clever in your turns, but turns can still be pretty fast, and it can be a gateway game, but also something that gamers can really dig into.
There's certainly a lot of strategy, and I want to zoom in a little because I want everyone to see these pieces. And again, this is not the final version of the game, but these are beautiful little tiles. There's some lovely detail on them, and the artwork on these, it's just beautiful. So, goes back.
Absolutely.
And I know this one's not imminently going to be available, but when will we be able to get our hands on this if we were foolish enough not to back it on Kickstarter?
All right, so I believe it's going to backers in January, February timeframe, so it should hit retail a little bit after that. So I would say springtime next year, 2020. And I should also mention this game also has a solo mode, and so there's a solo board that the game comes with. You're actually playing against another character. Her name is Anatsu. She's a pilgrim. And so there are some rules for how she gets tiles. So you're basically building your garden, and then you have to give up tiles to her, and she's going to be building her garden and also scoring a lot. And it's very challenging.
And so, folks, you will find a link to Pencil First Games for a little more information in the description. And Scott, if you could just
say one more thing,
yes,
too?
one more.
So, one really important thing that I think that we did in this game is the publisher hired a Japanese consultant, because I'm not Japanese, and the artist isn't Japanese, and the publisher isn't Japanese, even though we all have either been to Japan or we're definitely a lover of the culture, but we wanted to make sure that we got it right. And so the publisher hired someone by the name of Lisa Wilcutt, who went through and checked out every element of this game. In fact, in the rulebook you'll find that there are like paragraphs about every single object in the game, telling you the history of it, telling you the history of this particular period of Japan. So that if you're curious, you want to know about the characters, there's information about all of that. So a lot was done to make sure that this game is respectful for the Japanese culture, and everything that you see is right.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing that you've done there. I love it. I'm not on the camera, folks. I stay off the camera, but I'm getting a little choked up about it. It's just amazing. Scott, thank you so very much. I hope I get a shot to play it while I'm here, and I can make everybody on my channel jealous. But thank you again, everyone, for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
All right.